Hello. Senators grilled Supreme Court nominee Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson on day 2 of her confirmation hearings. Republican Utah Senator and Liberty lover Mike Lee, who never comes on this show, even though we heart him. He asked her about the importance of the court interpreting the laws, not making them. Watch.
You were admonished that you must, quote, be able to see the real people at the other end of the court's rulings, like Americans who are one Supreme Court decision away from losing their health insurance, or one court decision away from the ability to make their own health care choices. That type of judicial philosophy would have you step into the role of policymaker. Does the law determine the outcome of a case, or does the outcome of the case determine the law?
The law and the facts of the case determine the outcome of cases.
Snap. Both of them were very good there. Nominees can say one thing and, of course, do another. If Judge Jackson is confirmed, will she view the Constitution as a mere suggestion? Joining me live from the hearings, it's anchor of Fox News at Night and author of the brand new book, Mothers and Daughters of the Bible Speak. It is Shannon Bream, New York Times bestselling authoress and friend of the program, and also one of the very finest court watchers the land has ever known. Shannon, welcome back.
Thank you so much. I've got a couple of things. First, I'm obsessed with your glasses, which is unprofessional. I just am. And also, my good buddy Mike Lee, he was on our show last night. I am putting in a good word. There is no way he would not want to be on Kennedy. I'm going to give him a direct message.
We high-five him. He is one of the few freedom-fighting liberty lovers left in Congress. And he's from the great state of Utah, which is one of my very favorite places to snowboard. I appreciate that, Shannon Bream.
It's beautiful.
So how has Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson fared so far?
I think she's done very well, just like everybody expected, whether they support her or they're definitely not voting for her. I've heard the same story from everybody that spent time with her saying she's very engaging. She is brilliant. She's going to be somebody who comes across as very collegial, very open-minded, and very friendly during these hearings. And I think we've seen that even when she's been pressed really hard, she's not lost it at all. I mean, these nominees are smart. They spend weeks doing these so-called murder boards where they really push them and grill them and ask them uncomfortable things and put them in weird situations. So they're ready for whatever they get. And I think that she seems very well prepared, very well versed, and ready to go.
What has been her biggest hurdle so far? It seems like she has done well, but, you know, every Supreme Court nominee has been auditioning for this role for decades. You know, you make a decision probably sometime even before law school. You've been through so much of that process, and very few people get on that track. You know, you have to clerk for the Supreme Court. You have to have phenomenal grades that get you into the top 3 law schools in the country. And from that point on, it's really just a process of nailing the landing.
Yeah, and being in the right place at the right time, and all of those things have come together for her. The sterling resume, the experience. I mean, she's clerked for the very justice who's retiring that she hopes to replace. I mean, Justice Breyer, couldn't be a better story on a personal level. So she's definitely been very prepared for all of those things all along the way, honing her craft, serving as a federal judge. The things that have been toughest for her are the fact that while she's been a federal judge, the decisions she made in sentencing criminals. We've heard this from a number of senators. Senator Cotton has been going over this with her right now, sentencing issues. You've seen Senator Hawley, Senator Cruz. They've all looked back to where she had discretion as a judge and, in their estimation, went soft on certain criminals. In many of these cases, it's people who were convicted of possessing child pornography, not the actual production. For me, there's no difference. If you're supporting it, you're supporting it. But there is a difference under the law about whether you're just possessing it or supporting it. So these are cases involving people who were busted, some of them with troves of stuff. I mean, Senator Hawley has been really hard on her about this. There's been a lot of pushback. But today he went through some of the details of some of the cases. We're talking about like 8-year-olds and even, you know, younger than that, stuff that nobody wants to hear about. So he wanted to know why she decided in so many cases not to give it even the minimum sentence or what the government, the prosecutors had asked for. So that's been I think that's been the toughest issue that she's really had to go back and forth with a number of senators on.
What are you hearing? Will she be confirmed?
I think so. Democrats have the votes, and I suspect she's going to get 2 or 3, 4, maybe Republican votes, too.
I agree with you completely. I don't think there has been enough here, even though people might raise objections with her judicial philosophy, there are other aspects like free speech that will force people to take a second look. And she's a very likable person. She's incredibly competent. She knows the law. She knows her decisions. You know, obviously the process is not done. It's always fascinating seeing this, and I love hearing your point of view. Thank you, Shannon.
See you soon.
Okay.